It was one of those cold mornings where the air feels heavier than usual, like the world itself is tired. People walked faster, heads down, hands in pockets, avoiding eye contact. No one smiled. No one spoke. It felt like kindness had quietly disappeared, and no one even noticed. But on that same morning, in a small corner coffee shop, one simple act barely noticeable at the time started something no one could have predicted. A quiet ripple. A chain reaction. A reminder that kindness never really disappears. It just waits for someone brave enough to begin. Before we dive into the story, take a second to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and drop a comment about a time someone showed you unexpected kindness. Your story might inspire someone else today. Ethan Parker was not having a good week. At 34, he had just lost his job at a marketing firm in Chicago. It wasn't just the paycheck, it was the routine, the purpose, the sense that he was moving forward in life. Now, everything felt uncertain. That morning, he stood in line at a small coffee shop, staring at the menu like he hadn't seen it 100 times before. His phone buzzed again, another bill reminder. He sighed and rubbed his forehead. Next. Ethan stepped forward. Just a small black coffee. The barista smiled kindly. That'll be $2.75. Ethan reached into his wallet and paused. Empty. He checked again. Nothing but a few coins, barely enough for a bus ride. His face flushed. I'm sorry. I must have left my card at home. It's okay, the barista said gently, already moving to the next customer. Ethan stepped aside, embarrassed. He hadn't realized how much that one cup of coffee meant until he couldn't have it. As he turned to leave, a voice stopped him. Hey, wait. Ethan turned around. A woman, probably in her late 50s, stood behind him. She had kind eyes and a calm presence. I've got it, she said, holding out her card. Oh no, I can't. Please, she interrupted softly. It's just coffee. Ethan hesitated, then nodded. Thank you, really. She smiled. Just pass it on someday. That was it. No lecture. No big speech. Just a simple moment. Ethan took his coffee and walked out into the cold, something warm settling deeper than just the drink in his hands. Later that day, Ethan sat on a park bench, scrolling through job listings that all seemed to blur together. Nothing felt right. Nothing felt hopeful. Then he noticed a man nearby struggling with a stroller. One of the wheels had come loose, and the baby inside was starting to cry. People walked past. Some glanced. No one stopped. Ethan almost didn't either. But then he remembered the woman in the coffee shop. Just pass it on someday. He stood up and walked over. Hey, need a hand? The man looked relieved. Yeah. I don't know what happened to this thing. Ethan crouched down, adjusted the wheel, and snapped it back into place. There you go, he said, standing up. The baby stopped crying. The father smiled. Man, thank you. Seriously. I didn't know what I was gonna do. Ethan shrugged. No problem. But as he walked away, something felt different. For the first time all week, he didn't feel useless. Across town, that same father Marcus stopped at a grocery store on his way home. Still thinking about the stranger who helped him, he noticed a young cashier struggling. A customer was arguing loudly, complaining about a small pricing error. The cashier looked overwhelmed, her hands shaking. Marcus stepped forward. Hey, it's just a few cents. Let it go. The man grumbled but eventually left. Marcus turned to the cashier. You're doing great. Don't let people get to you. Her eyes filled with tears. Thank you. I really needed that. That cashier, Lily, went home that night exhausted but lighter. She had been thinking about quitting, about giving up. But instead, she sat down and finished her college application. Weeks passed. Ethan eventually landed a small freelance job. It wasn't much, but it was a start. He kept going back to that coffee shop not just for the coffee, but for the reminder of that moment. One day, as he stood in line again, he noticed someone ahead of him in a familiar situation. A young guy, maybe early 20s, patted his pockets nervously. "I think I forgot my wallet." Ethan didn't hesitate. "I've got it," he said. The young man turned, surprised. "Really?" Ethan smiled. "Yeah. It's just coffee." The words felt familiar. Comforting. The young man nodded gratefully. "Thank you. I'll pay it forward." Ethan stepped aside, holding his cup, watching as the moment repeated itself in a slightly different way. And suddenly, it hit him. That woman, she had no idea what she started. She didn't know about Marcus. Or Lily. Or this young guy. She didn't know that her small act had traveled through strangers, across days and places, quietly changing lives. And maybe that's the point. Kindness doesn't need recognition. It doesn't need applause. It just needs to happen. Months later, Lily received her college acceptance letter. She cried. Not just because she got in but because she didn't give up. That same day, she volunteered at a local community center, helping kids with homework. One of those kids, a quiet boy named Daniel, struggled with reading. He was shy, often overlooked. But Lily sat with him patiently, encouraging him, believing in him. "Take your time," she said gently. "You're doing better than you think." Daniel smiled for the first time that day. Years later, Daniel would remember that moment. He would remember how one person took the time to be kind when no one else did. And one day, he would do the same for someone else. Back in that same coffee shop, the woman who started it all sat quietly with her drink, watching people come and go. She didn't know Ethan's name. She didn't know the chain reaction she had created. But she smiled anyway, as she saw a young man pay for someone else's coffee. A small moment. A familiar moment. A powerful moment. Because kindness is like that. It moves quietly. It grows slowly. But it never stops. So the next time you think your small act doesn't matter, remember this story. Remember that one cup of coffee can turn into something far bigger than you'll ever see. You may never know the impact. You may never see the end of the chain. But somewhere, someone will feel it. And maybe, just maybe, they'll pass it on. Kindness isn't about changing the whole world at once. It's about changing one moment. One person. One choice at a time. So today, hold the door open. Smile at a stranger. Help someone who's struggling. Buy that cup of coffee. Because you never know. Your small act might be the beginning of something beautiful. And the world could really use a little more of that.